The story kicks off with a spaceship crashing in Korea, plunging into a river, and a naked man emerges from the water. Then the scene shifts, and we are introduced to a couple named So-hee and Man-gil, who recently got married. Man-gil, being handsome, makes So-hee consider herself incredibly fortunate. One morning, during breakfast, Man-gil informs So-hee that he won't be able to return home until dinner. Sensing something amiss, So-hee skeptically inquires whether he's truly heading out for work or if there's something else. In response, Man-gil reassures her that he's solely going out for work and expresses his deep affection for So-hee. Later in the evening, So-hee meets up with her childhood friends, and one of them asks her about her husband. So-hee responds by praising her husband. Another girl named So-hee is also present there, and there are rumors about her that she killed her previous husband because he was having an affair. Later that night, upon arriving home, So-hee finds her husband already asleep. She notices some marks on his hands, but just then, Man-gil's phone rings. So-hee decides to check her husband's phone and comes across several messages. One message explicitly mentions that he will be meeting someone on Friday. Reading this, suspicions start creeping into So-hee's mind that Man-gil might be cheating on her. The next morning, So-hee asks Man-gil to accompany her to a function on Friday, but Man-gil makes excuses, citing work commitments. Now, So-hee's suspicions grow stronger that her husband is betraying her. Finally, So-hee meets a private investigator named Dr. Jang. She wants Jang to investigate her husband and find out if he is indeed involved in an affair. Dr. Jang takes on the job and starts tailing Man-gil everywhere. Eventually, he meets So-hee and informs her that Man-gil is indeed cheating on her and also has some weird habits. Man-gil spends most of his time in clubs, gyms, and golf courses. He enjoys new girls every day and consumes a lot of alcohol every morning. Dr. Jang reveals that Man-gil has already been married 3 times before, and all 3 of his previous wives either went missing or died. But the weirdest fact is that Man-gil secretly drinks petrol every night. Upon hearing all this, So-hee's heart shatters, and she leaves the place in tears. That night, So-hee attempts to kill Man-gil with a knife but is not able to gather the courage. Eventually, she reaches out to her old friend and confesses about her unfaithful husband and her desire to kill him. So-hee, who has gone through 4 failed marriages and has been accused of killing her previous husband, says that although she didn't actually kill her ex-husband, she thinks he deserved to die. According to her, all men are the same. The next day, So-hee meets Dr. Jang again, who tells her that, in his opinion, Man-gil doesn't even belong to this world. He came from another planet, and the aliens like him are known as the Unbreakable. They disguise themselves as humans and live among them, leading completely human-like lives to avoid suspicion. So-hee finds it hard to believe his words, so Jang takes her to a petrol station where she witnesses Man-gil drinking petrol with her own eyes. This shocking sight leaves So-hee dumbfounded. On the other side, a secret meeting was taking place at the XCOM company, involving government officials, scientists, and police. Their objective was to capture aliens who were living among humans, spreading a virus by collecting human DNA. To achieve this, they needed to reach the alien leader, Man-gil, in order to save the human race. Meanwhile, distraught, So-hee reached her home and drank water from the refrigerator, unaware that Man-gil had already mixed poison in it. As soon as So-hee consumed the poisoned water, she collapsed on the ground. After some time, Man-gil arrived at the scene and upon seeing So-hee lying unconscious, he quickly informed So-hee's friends to avoid arousing any suspicions. They rushed So-hee to the hospital, where the doctor pronounced her dead. Her friends burst into tears, and Man-gil pretended to be a pitiful figure, joining in the act of crying. Suddenly, So-hee regained consciousness and spat out a blue-colored poison. Man-gil's plan had been foiled, but he continued to fake happiness upon witnessing So-hee alive. Afterward, Man-gil went to a shop to buy another poison with the intention of eliminating So-hee. However, the police were following him and managed to capture his image outside the shop. In the evening, Man-gil met his alien friends and discussed his plan to kill So-hee. He sought their help in disposing of So-hee's body after killing her. On the other hand, So-hee, along with So-hee, started devising a plan to kill Man-gil and arranged a meeting with Dr. Jang. The 3 of them devised a plan to electrocute Man-gil, and if that failed, Dr. Jang had prepared a special injection that could potentially kill the alien, although he had never tested it but believed that it would work. They all arrived at So-hee's house to put the plan into action. Dr. Jang connected a wire to the bathtub for an electric shock and took out a remote that appeared like a regular lighter. Just then, the doorbell rang, and they assumed it was Man-gil arriving home. So-hee and Dr. Jang quickly hid in the bathroom, but to their surprise, So-hee's friend Yang's son was standing at the door holding a gun, searching for her boyfriend, Broccoli, who was none other than Dr. Jang. She searched the entire house and found the bathroom door locked. In her anger, she broke down the door, only to find So-hee pooping inside. Unbeknownst to her, Dr. Jang was hiding behind a curtain in the bathtub. In the living room, Yang's son informs So-hee that she thinks her boyfriend is cheating on her. She then takes out a cigarette but realizes she doesn't have a lighter. Desperate for a flame, she grabs the lighter-looking remote. As soon as she presses the button, Dr. Jang receives a powerful electric shock. Startled and frightened, the three girls rush into the bathroom, only to find Dr. Jang dead. So-hee blames Yang's son for the incident, as she had pressed the button. However, all three of them decide not to disclose the event to anyone and agree to hide Dr. Jang's body. They hide the doctor's body in Man-gil's wardrobe just as Man-gil arrives home. Interestingly, it also happens to be Man-gil's birthday today. So-hee suggests that he should take a shower first before they celebrate his birthday. While Man-gil is in the bathtub, So-hee presses the button on the remote from outside. Man-gil experiences the electric shock, but it has no effect on him. The girls are completely shocked to see that Man-gil is still alive. However, they deceive Man-gil that it was just a prank. Afterward, everyone gathers to cut the cake. After cutting the cake, So-hee offers Man-gil a glass of wine, which she has already spiked with poison. However, before he can take a sip, the AI assistant alerts him that there is something in his wardrobe. Intrigued, Man-gil decides to investigate, with the three girls trailing behind him, filled with fear. As soon as he opens the wardrobe, Dr. Jang emerges, still alive. Man-gil assumes him as a thief and attacks him, resulting in the death of Dr. Jang. So-hee suggests Man-gil bury him to avoid getting caught. Meanwhile, at that very moment, Man-gil's alien friends arrive as planned to dispose of So-hee's body. However, upon discovering So-hee is still alive, they fabricate a story, pretending they have come to celebrate Man-gil's birthday. Man-gil welcomes them inside and suggests they all share a drink, while he accompanies the girls to bury Dr. Jang's body. As soon as Man-gil completes digging the ground, So-hee strikes him on the head with an axe and buries him alongside Dr. Jang. Finally, the three girls breathe a sigh of relief, but suddenly, Man-gil's head emerges from the soil. Witnessing this horrifying sight, they hastily flee in their car. Man-gil, displaying extraordinary speed, manages to climb on top of their vehicle, causing it to crash, resulting in Man-gil falling from the mountainside. The girls assume that Man-gil must have died, so they return home. However, they discover that all of Man-gil's alien friends at home have died because they have consumed the poisoned wine. Without wasting any time, the girls load all the bodies into their car and head towards the jungle to dispose of them. However, they are intercepted by the police on the way. In an attempt to deceive the officers, the girls fabricate a story, claiming that the bodies are their heavily drunk husbands who have fallen into a deep sleep. Unfortunately, their ruse is exposed when the breathalyzer reveals that the girls themselves have also consumed alcohol. Consequently, the police take them into custody and transport them to the police station. Coincidentally, a police officer brings Dr. Jang to the station as well, having discovered him wandering in the jungle. Due to the electric shocks he endured, Dr. Jang has lost his memory and is unable to recognize anyone. On the other hand, Man-gil climbs up the mountain, stumbling upon a nearby source of petrol. After consuming it, his wounds miraculously heal in a matter of seconds. Empowered, he makes his way to the police station and takes So-hee and her friends with him, pretending not to remember anything. However, in the car, his demeanor changes, and he playfully threatens to kill all three of them. Suddenly, So-hee takes out her knife and strikes him on the head, causing the car to plummet into a ravine. Miraculously, all three girls survive the crash and quickly step out of the car and run away. After a while, Man-gil regains consciousness, the knife still lodged in his head, which he calmly removes. The three girls seek refuge in a nearby factory, but it doesn't take long for Man-gil to track them down. Just as he is about to kill So-hee, numerous alien officers arrive at the scene, and a fierce battle ensues between them and Man-gil. However, Man-gil effortlessly overpowers and defeats all of the officers with his extraordinary abilities. In that crucial moment, Dr. Jang's memories come flooding back, and he hands So-hee a syringe he had prepared to kill Man-gil. Seizing the opportunity, So-hee discreetly injects Man-gil from behind, ultimately causing his demise. The scene then transitions to 1 year later, where we find the three friends joyfully celebrating together, accompanied by Dr. Jang, who has made a full recovery. However, the narrative takes an unexpected turn as our attention shifts to So-hee, seated in her car, driving towards a petrol pump, gripping a pipe in her hand. She appears to be on the verge of consuming petrol, leaving us with a sense of suspense. Movie comes to an end. The IMDb rating of this movie is 5.3, but I would give it a 4. If you like the explanation, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe the channel. See you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.